Welcome back, everybody, to Comic Shop Talk, our weekly comic book review show on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. I'm your host, Niko, and joined with me today, as always, my co-host, Chris. How's it going, Chris?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. Another week of comics here. This is episode 205. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about the new comics that came out for the week of November 12th, 2025. And as always, as I mentioned, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Spoiler warning, we are going to be getting into what happens in the books here today. We are going to be showing off some of the art as well from those books. So if you're worried about that, you can always read your books and then come back. Check out the playlist, all kinds of episodes, over 200 now. So there you go. All kinds of other comic book content in there as well. And check out some of the other videos we do here on the Late Night Chat Network as well. We also got weekly movie videos coming out every week, whether it's a trailer reaction video, whether it's like a deep dive discussion and us rewatching a favorite movie of ours and talking about it, or like a theme episode. Like, we did a lot of Halloween, like horror type of content here that we put out, talking about our favorite horror movies and things like that have come out. And there's a bunch of different hosts on those shows as well. Unfortunately, I am the constant. I'm pretty much on all the videos. But, so you don't like me. I don't know what to tell you, but nothing I can do about that. But I promise you, I share the stage with a lot of other fun people that come on the shows as well. I swear I don't talk up the entire time, Chris. I know I tend to do that a lot on this show. Chris sometimes gets a word in edgewise.
It'd be nice to him. He'll threaten to walk away again.
I might have to retire again. Next episode will just be Chris talking comics by himself. No, all right. I'm just joking around. But anyways, all right, Chris.
All right, let's talk comics.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, first up on the docket here today, we got Iron and Frost. We're talking about our X-Men tie-in books here. First up here for the episode.
Yeah, we'll start with the positives. That's a great cover.
It is. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do like these like design forward kind of like, these covers like are more like magazine spreads or fashion spread type of poses, it makes sense to put Emma Frost on one of these covers, right? So I think that's kind of really works for her character as well, because some of these, I think they're pretty random. Like, why is this character in a flak jacket? You know what I mean? Or whatever the hell they're wearing, some of these guys, right? Like, I don't see some of these characters as fashionable characters, but Emma Frost, it makes sense, right? But what'd you think of this?
Well, we can stop at the cover. That's the good stuff. Yeah, no, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of this Iron Frost story to begin with. And, with a lot of the other spin-offs or tie-ins, whatever you want to call them, they might have captured a bit more of my attention. This one still doesn't capture any of my attention. I don't even know why they're even talking about this story. I guess Tony Stark is sort of, I guess, with that X virus merged with his suit, and it looks like the AI is sort of taken over. But every once in a while, his true personality peeks out. I don't know. I don't care. I don't know what this mask he's wearing is worth. It just didn't tickle my fancy one bit.
I also don't feel like it feels very connected to what we know of the relationship of these two characters that we witnessed during the Jerry Duggan Iron Man run and the X-Men stuff. Honestly, it feels like a bit disconnected. Like, obviously this person who's not Jerry Duggan writing it, would have been nice, I think, if Jerry Duggan was writing it, because it kind of feels a little forced, this storyline, honestly. Like, they're obviously playing in that time period a little bit by kind of continuing with this whole thing about these two, I guess, being an item or being familiar with one another at a certain point in time. But I don't know. It's again, this is just like another of these forced miniseries storylines of people and the characters in the future. I would have rather them maybe even focus a lot more of these series on mutant characters. Like, I know, like, Emma Frost is obviously, but you got all kinds of different people in some of these tie-ins, right? Like, and I guess they're saying like some of these heroes are still alive in this future, and some of them are getting affected by the X virus. But I don't know. This doesn't feel like a necessary X-Men spin-off book to be telling during Age of Revelation. Yeah. So yeah, I like you, Chris. I was a little bit disappointed by this, and I probably won't be reading the last issue, honestly. I did pick it up for the cover, and that's where it ends, I think.
Yeah. I'll probably read the third one just because, but I wouldn't pay money for it.
No. So
yeah, and I give this a 3 easily.
Yeah, I think so. 3 out of 5. Next up, we got Sinister Six #2. This is another of the tie-ins of the Age of Revelation, the Sinister team of different heroes that are like affected by the X virus. What'd you think of this?
I think the story's a little bit better here, but the characters they have for this story, like, when they were hyping this up, it sounded like a pretty decent team. But the Black Cat you get, I don't know, it doesn't remind me of any sort of Felicia Hardy Black Cat.
Yeah.
The Venom you get is a freaking a leash dog. And everybody else, at least they're mutants and they're sort of involved in this Age of Revelation. Well, I guess everybody's involved, but you'd be more concerned what happened with these mutants. With Mr. Sinister, I think in some of the other ones, they kind of talk about him leaving. So I guess this probably takes place after he leaves, I guess, Revelation. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it's still nowhere near good.
Yeah, I like the first issue a lot more than this issue, I'll say. But unlike some of the other tie-ins, even the one we just talked about, I felt like, yeah, this feels a little bit more in line of what I would want from these tie-ins, and this does seem possible, and this team makes sense in a way. I will say I did like the team of different interesting characters on the team, like you said, but you made a good point. Like, I feel like they're failing in the execution of the actual story here. I thought the setup was well done in the first issue, but again, I don't really care too much about this story, and that's the problem with a lot of these tie-ins. It's like whether or not I'm in for even the 3-issue story of the setups that they're kind of running with here. And this unfortunately didn't meet the mark either, but I will agree. I think it was better than Iron and Frost this week. And I do think I don't want to say it's one of the better tie-ins because it's not, but I think it feels more in line of what I would expect, what I wanted, let's say, from some of these tie-ins. Like this Sinister Six team on paper isn't that horrible of an idea. I thought this would
they're looking for the cure.
Yeah.
They're invading, or they're trying to raid some underground bunker, and it looks like they're going to be able to do it. And then, of course, they're going to run into the team there at the end. I don't know who they run into. Do they run into like with that North Star and Aurora from Alpha Flight in this one, or is that somewhere else?
I think that's somewhere else. No, they do run into some other characters though.
Yeah, they run into Wolverine, of course, and
yeah, the bad guys there on the other side of the fence here. Yeah. But no, they run into now I'm blanking on it. Oh no, they just run into all the bad guys there at the end. I think you're thinking of another issue. Maybe that was Iron and Frost or one. Yeah, that one I didn't read. I think that's just you on that one. So they're almost all blending together at this point. This was almost like I felt like the answer to like Hellions, like a Hellions-esque type of story. I felt like I was hoping for here with like more villainous characters, or because or like Havoc was on the team. It felt like Hellions almost in a way, right? But then not as good as Hellions. No. What'd you give this?
Yeah, 3.25.
Yep. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, it's a little bit better than Iron and Frost, 3.25 out of 5. And then finally, I didn't read this one. You got Rogue Storm #2 here.
Yeah, Rogue Storm. That first one wasn't up my alley, and this one just continues that once as well. Thing that goes on, it's going on some backstory where there's some spirit that has possessed Storm, and that's kind of who's running the show. There's a lot of history about that. Then you have Gambit trying to, meet up with Rogue, or meets up with Storm. And, they're kind of going back and forth about him only liking the green Rogue, and he's looking for red Rogue out there. And just that whole Rogue being split it's a weirdo story. And then, of course, the other team that's trying to either save Storm or kill Storm. I don't know what they're trying to do. They do reach her, and I think when they break her out of some dome that she's in, that releases this spirit or that's been haunting her, chasing her. And then it's revealed that this spirit has gone and killed all of Earth's like magical characters, which is hard to believe. Like, it talks about this person killing Doom, killing Doctor Strange, killing Clea, killing Dormammu, Mr. Voodoo. Hey, that's a lot to ask for this one character to do. Like, these are all top level characters. I know maybe it's supposed to be the shock factor that the spirit has killed them all, but that just doesn't ring true. And if there was one that I probably wouldn't read, it would be this one. But if I'm in for 2 issues, it's only 3 issues. We'll see how it goes. But I'd give this another 3. Not great.
Okay. All right, next up, got a few. Oh, actually, do you want to show off Witchblade 16? I know you didn't read it, but you got the nice cover there.
Oh yeah, I picked up that. Where did that go? Nope, that's not it. Yeah, I got a Suzumaki Witchblade 16 cover.
Nice.
I kind of read about it. It's still, I know what, she's the cop running around. There's not too much action. I imagine, I thought these comics would be her in her Witchblade costume, just prancing around and eating cheesecake and stuff. But seems to be a bit more to it.
Okay, well,
they're taking
a real go at it, Chris. What's wrong with that? This isn't what I wanted.
Yeah. The story's ruining my covers.
No, I understand. Colossal Chaos #1 is the next book I have here. A few that I've read. And this is like, I guess, in between arcs or at the end of like a big last arc. And this is kind of like midway through the whole run at this point, or 2/3 through the whole run. He talks about how long he kind of plans for the run to continue in the letter column in the back, or like a little thing that he wrote. This is kind of like an opportunity that he brought where the story is going in a different direction to bring on like a bunch of different artists and that are like drawing his story. So the interesting thing about this is 2 things I will say that he did differently. Oh, I got to show this off too, because of course we aren't talking about it on the show this week, but this week was the release of Youngblood #1. I know Chris didn't get his copy. So, even though maybe next episode, if you get a hold of your copy by then, Chris, you'll be able to talk about that on the show. Cause I think it's worth mentioning. I did get this Kea Wes Craig inspired Youngblood #1 cover where he did an homage to the original Youngblood #1 cover with all a bunch of the Kea characters, which is kind of cool. And I got your copy over here, Chris, that I picked up for you because I know you weren't able to get one. So if we meet up this week, maybe we could talk about it on the next episode. But the thing that I thought was interesting about this is like a lot of these anniversary issues, when they bring other people in, they write and draw the story, it seems like, themselves, and they do like a bunch of short stories while playing in the character's world, essentially. In this one, Wes Craig continued to tell the story in this issue, and he actually just got the artist to draw different parts of the story that he was telling, and he continued with his story. So I kind of liked that he was just like, no, I'm not going to let people like just tell short stories in my world with these characters or kind of their interpretation of the story. He's like, this is the story. I'm going to get a bunch of good artists to come on and like tell this part of the story after I just finish this last arc. and now all the characters are headed in different directions and split up. And for each character focused story I'm going to tell while continuing my planned story, I'm going to get a different artist to draw it. So I kind of thought that was smart, because I've seen so many times these people do this kind of stuff and they just bring a bunch of artists on, but they allow them to take the reins a little bit, where this was Wes Craig is like, no, I'm still kind of like steering the ship here. And you're kind of just going to help me for this issue. And it's oversized. James Herron helped out. He's the one that did the backup issue, the backup story in the annual Batman annual, Absolute Batman annual we just talked about. So he's really great. Mike Huddleston did a story. Declan Shalvey did a story. Nathan Fox, who I haven't seen in a while, did a story. And Ryan Stegman literally did one page at the end of the issue. When this creature shows up, Stegman drew this one, which is a nice looking page. Don't get me wrong. It was just funny how I saw Stegman's name on here. I was like, oh, nice. You got some...
He's got.
Yeah, one page, right? So and he got some a pin up by Jim Mahfood in the back there. So it's a good art team. I don't have the art prepared for this one. That's why I'm not showing it on the screen right now. But there's good artists on here. And like I said, I think it was interesting that he just kind of got... And the other thing too is that he told there's like a whole few pages at the start of the issue that tells the whole story up to this point. Like he kind of broke it down in like, I don't know, like 6 pages to kind of catch everybody up. So if you are just jumping in with this issue for whatever reason, it's a good kind of spot to jump in as well. So I'll give this a 4 out of 5. I did really like it. I thought there was all really good artists that he picked for the issue. And I'm really liking where the story is right now. And it looks like we're kind of like just about 2/3 of the way through the journey of this tale. So I'm looking forward to the rest. And then next up, we got Red Hulk number 10. This is the end of this series. This is a tie-in, One World Under Doom, that I've been enjoying. Benjamin Percy wrote it. And I think it was a different artist on this last issue, it looks like, actually, than the person that's been drawing it the whole way through. Or for the most part, I think he drew every issue. Jeff Shaw, I think, is a different artist on this one. This was an all right ending. I kind of really liked this series as a tie-in, like adjacent to the One World Under Doom stuff, and the fact that it kind of told a fun Red Hulk story, and it's been a while since I've read something with him. I like the side characters a lot in this, which were Machine Man and I almost said Deathlock, which you don't get to see all too often. So, like, it was a fun story. I liked it. But the thing with this being a tie-in to One World Under Doom that's kind of adjacent, running outside of the series, it doesn't really touch on what happens at the end of the event. Plus, this is ending before the end of the event, so I can't really comment on that stuff. And then the story kind of just ends at the end. The Hulk seems to kind of, like, escape the bad guy here and takes out one of the bad guys that he encounters after he got out of Doom's dungeon. And, there's some good action scenes in here. But then at the end, he's just like, yeah, I said I wouldn't stop until I raised the American flag in Latveria. And you see that Red Hulk, like, he was able to, like, put it on top of this, like, big, like, mountain that looks like Doom, essentially. Like, it's, like, carved into, like, his face. And he plants the American flag on there. So it's almost like a big fuck you to Doom at the end. So I liked that. But then it kind of just ended. And I was just like, this was kind of pointless, to be honest with you. It seemed like, I don't know, it just ended with a bit of a... I was just like, oh, okay, very anticlimactic in a way. Like, it was a cool, like, last panel with the American flag on top of the Doom Mountain and all that. But the fact that he has nothing to do with actually confronting Doom during this event or with the actual event kind of made it like almost like not important to the event at all, which I sometimes like these stories that they tell outside of the event that don't have a lot to do with it. So I'm kind of like in between. Like, I liked it, but I also felt like it would have been nice if they kind of tied it in a little bit towards the end. So, some minor gripes here anyways. I give it a 3.75 out of 5, and I'll probably give the whole miniseries that, honestly. It wasn't bad by any means. I enjoyed it the whole way through. It kept my attention. But I just was a little let down, I feel like, by the ending. It was a little anticlimactic. But I'll show you the last panel here at the end, which was kind of fun. There you go. Yeah, no, it's just like you see, like it's not
that
even
could have been the cover right there.
yeah, right? America, fuck yeah, like right on with the flag. That's what I mean. The last page was cool. I was like, okay, that's cool, but I also was just like, oh, okay, I guess that's it, right? So I was a little disappointed. Next up, Superman Kryptonite Spectrum number 4. This was a lot of fun. Every issue has been basically him focusing on one of these 4 new pieces of kryptonite that they discovered at the start of this series, and him and Batman are testing it out. And they've been playing with like the form and function of like a comic book, breaking the fourth wall, doing all these weird things. You can even see here in the art, in that spaceship, they put like an actual picture of a human being in there. So it's like, it's not just anime. It's not just like an artist drawing a person. Like they just put like a photo inside of that spaceship. So this is the wackiest one though, because this is like these like Technicolor kind of like kryptonite in this, like some rainbow kryptonite. And it basically, when he touches the kryptonite, it affects him and brings him into the 5th dimension, which of course is Mr. Mixelplick's playground. So this whole issue is wacky. Like weird things are happening to this guy. He's inside of his head. He's in the 5th dimension. Batman has to access the 5th dimension in order to save Superman, because he gets himself caught there without being able to get him out of it. And of course, then Batman has to access Batmite, which is his character from the 5th dimension. So as Mr. Mixelplick, as Batmite. And they also mentioned that Superman has to, when Batman comes in with Batmite, he's like, you need to access your magical imp that's part of the 5th dimension. Mr. Mixelplick isn't yours. So there's all these weird, like, fourth wall breaking and wacky stuff happening during the issue. And then on top of it, the Batman thing happens, and they introduce this new character of Superman's that's his magical imp in the 5th dimension, and it's Kal-Elf is his name. So he's kind of got his own Batmite that they introduced in this issue, which I don't think has ever been done before, which was kind of fun as well. I really like this issue. This is probably my favorite issue of the whole series. They've always been kind of playing with the way to tell a comic book story. Like there's even like a whole page. They're very experimental, this series, which I'm not surprised, because this is the guys that do the Ice Cream Man series, and this is what they do in that series as well, which is like an Image series, of course, but this is them doing like a big 2 story with a character. So I'm glad that they didn't lose that about themselves as creators, and they kind of brought that into like the Superman story here. But yeah, and then Luthor creates this guy called Kryptonite Man, which basically he used all the different kryptonites to like make this like this dude that's going to destroy Superman, essentially. And the next issue, now that they've addressed all 4 pieces of kryptonite, it's supposed to bring it all home, essentially, and wrap up this story. So this is definitely the strongest issue. I really like Mr. Mixelplick. He always kind of has funny things going on. Then the art style was changing, and then he was like talking to the writer, and he's talking to the artist, and like all these different fun things that are breaking the fourth wall were going on, but not overdoing it. Like it was very well done. It wasn't like, getting repetitive. It wasn't like, Deadpool talking to the person like the whole time. It was like, they have this whole thing where it's talking about how to survive in the 5th dimension with graphs and stuff like that. So I really like the approach that they kind of took to this issue. And let me just show you a picture of Kal-Elf here. There you go.
Go for this one a look. This one sounds good.
You honestly don't even need to read the rest, Chris. You can just read this one issue, because it's all been kind of very like, everyone's been like one shot of kryptonites, like each one. And this is definitely the best one out of the bunch. So good stuff. I give this a 4.25 out of 5. Honestly, maybe even verging on 4.5 for creativity alone. Like this was a very creative, fun story that they told in this one, which I really enjoyed. Next up, then I got Marvel Knights, The World to Come, number 4. Not much to add on this. This is a very Christopher Priest tells his storytelling is very complicated. He definitely plays the long game where everything kind of comes together at the end. There's some confusing things and things that he's focusing on 3 different time periods in this issue, and he's relating things back to his Black Panther run, back from the original run during the Marvel Knights era of the 2000s. The Joe Quesada art, which he doesn't usually draw comics all too often anymore, is really great. and the story is interesting, but I feel like I'm missing out on certain stuff. Like, it's very densely written and there's a lot of stuff that's going on. And his books are definitely something you need to read like all in one sitting collected. Reading it in issue, it's hard to kind of keep up with what's going on. I will say the cool thing though is at the end of the issue, Daredevil there's a little tease that Daredevil is going to be in the next issue. And I guess this is that period of Marvel Knights Daredevil that shows up, and it's in the future as well. So it's an older Daredevil. So I'm interested to see where the story goes. And I'm probably going to pick this up as a collection once it comes out, because there's some things I feel like I'm missing out on. He reintroduces a bad guy from his Black Panther run back when he did it during the original Marvel Knights. Basically, I don't think this is easy reading by any means. And if you didn't read the original Marvel Knights run by Christopher Priest, you'd be even more lost. So this is not, I think, new reader friendly. Even for me, who's read that run, I'm finding it challenging because he's a very challenging writer. I'll give it a 3.5, though. It's not bad by any means, but I guarantee you I would give it more if I probably understood everything that was going on. It's losing me a little bit. And then you got TMNT Journeys number 3. I think this is the last issue I'm grabbing of this in issues. I might continue reading it digitally for the show. I am still enjoying it. I just know I'm going to pick up the collection of this because I usually have all the hardcovers and paperbacks of TMNT. This is just weird, wild, black and white. Like, I guess this came out in the 2000s originally, like fun. This is such a weird turtle story that feels so out of place with current day Turtles or any like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles I've read. There's like aliens in this, and there's like, well, not that there hasn't been aliens in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but like there's all these like weird characters I've never heard of, and it's like really a story I've never seen in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles being told here. They're just it's just a weird sci-fi story that the Turtles just happen to be in. That's the best way I can put it. But it's got all this really weird looking, like fun black and white art. It definitely feels of another time, and it's because it is. This came out in the 2000s, and he's kind of going off of like I felt like what the original TMNT comics were like back in the day, which were kind of weird and drawn in black and white and everything else. So I had a lot of fun with this. I'll give this a 4 out of 5. I'm still really enjoying this. And the only reason I'm probably dropping in issues is because I'm just like, you know what? I got to drop some stuff from my pull list. I'm sure I'm going to pick up the collection of this. So, yeah, it's good stuff, though. I'm really enjoying it. All right. Transformers 26, Chris.
Transformers 26. I guess this is the first full issue of Robert Kirkman.
Yeah. Oh, you got the day more. Nice.
This is cover, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's
second issue of Kirkman.
Full issue. The second one, the first one was kind of split up, right?
True. Yeah.
And I think I'm okay with what's going on here. You know, they focused a lot on Thundercracker. He's one of those airplane jets there that's trying to save his buddy Skywarp, which I guess the other Decepticons kind of threw into the fire to make other different to use spare parts for some of the other Decepticons.
Yeah.
And Skywarp's been sort of trapped in Teletran, and he's kind of focusing around there, and he seems to come around. I don't know if he's even changed sides here.
Yeah.
And just to be kind of put it out there, I remember I did have the toy of Thundercracker, and I always felt that he was overlooked. You know, and like once all the cartoons came out, you know, when I got the toy, there was no cartoons or anything like that yet. And then, you know, like I thought, well, this, like, you know, those 3 jets were basically identical. There was just 3 of them. They were just different colors. And you never heard anything about Thundercracker. So I'm glad that he's sort of brought to the forefront here. So I enjoyed that. And I do enjoy the story. Even once they freed Skywarp, Skywarp's like, what the hell are you doing with these Transformers? You know, and he's trying to tell him, look, you know, the Decepticons, they basically sacrificed you to save themselves. And, you know, we're just trying to save you. And it kind of paints Optimus Prime in a very positive light. Like it's almost like the superhero type or the Superman type of decision he makes there. Goes, oh, you know, we've all suffered at this, and you know, none have suffered more than Skywarp, even though he's Decepticon. no, we're still all, Cybertronians, and nobody deserves this. And it was nice to see that he decided that, with that extra energon, that's the first person he decided to save. And it looks like all that extra energon is going to be coming at a cost, because it seems those human allies have something up their sleeve. So I think, true to Kirkman, I almost found he does that last page kind of cliffhanger very well. So he can even give you a crappy issue, but there'll be some cliffhanger, some twist in that last page that goes, whoa, that could turn around the whole comic. And I thought it was a good comic up until that last page.
Yeah.
And the last page just sells it.
Yeah, you called it. Kirkman mastered that with The Walking Dead. He's the master of the opening page and the last page. Like, he knows how to open the comic book really well, and he could also do the same thing at the end of the issue as well, bring it back around and leave you on a cliffhanger. Yeah, no, well said. I agree with everything you're saying. I loved learning about these Transformers more, because I don't really have that much knowledge of the Transformers like you do. Like you said, you had the toys of that and stuff. I only watched a bit of it. More so the stuff that came later on in the 90s with Beast Wars Transformers. That was kind of like my Transformers, even though I watched a bit of the original as well. Yeah, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop on this whole military stuff that's happening with the humans as well. It all seems like great right now, but I love the turmoil that he's building up of the people switching sides, the people second guessing the Decepticons. You know what I mean? Like, I like that there's people that are now joining their side, and Optimus is trying to just do right. Like, there's even people that are on Optimus's side, that are saying like, you can't treat these guys like nice. Like, what are you doing? Like, are you serious about this? Like, you're just gonna help this guy, right? So I like that there's like switching sides, and I could see them we already got what's her name, RC, on energy on their planet, right? And she's already kind of not going along with what Optimus is doing, because she feels he's not doing enough for
well, she kind of has a true point. Like, what's he so worried about Earth for? We're dying here in Cybertron, and he's he had a chance to come back, maybe even turn the tides,
right?
And he goes, I gotta save Earth, which I guess good for us, but not so good for Cybertron.
Yeah, I'm loving this new direct. I mean, I just think this is the strongest series out of all the Energon stuff. I'm really enjoying Kirkman joining in, and it didn't feel like the quality dipped at all. Mora has been great on this so far. Yeah, if anything, it's like getting better. Honestly, like I've loved Dan Warren Johnson's run, but I just really like where this is going, and you could tell Kirkman has a good knowledge and feel for these characters. So it's not like, hey, we're just gonna bring Joe Schmo writer in here now. This is, this is where I was
some effort
into it. What's that?
So it looks like they're putting some effort into it, and knowing that this is like sort of like you say the jewel of the Energon universe.
Yeah. I'm just I was so surprised when Kirkman didn't write this book to begin with. So the fact that he's now on it, I'm not mad at that at all, because I felt like this is his Energon universe, yet he wasn't the one that was writing the Transformers. It always felt weird to me that he was not.
Yeah, it was weird. I'm doing this Void Rivals. Like, what are you even talking about, Void Rivals? You got G.I. Joe and freaking Transformers, and you're trying to build some crossover, and you're out here in some ring with these two worlds that are against each other, that seemingly had nothing to do with anything, but it looks like might be a key player in this.
Yeah. So what'd you give this?
Yeah, I give it a 3.75.
Oh, I'll go 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 for me. Next up, we got Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Rites of Spring #4.
Yeah, this is just wacky here. So is this bear like the bear's name is Stephanie the Killer, right?
I believe so, yeah.
And there's the duck is trying to find her mother that Stephanie killed, and Stephanie is leading her on, kind of just for kicks, really. Maybe just to kind of feel the thrill of seeing the victim side of all the turmoil that she causes. It's just wacky what she's up to in here, and I think she almost gives herself away. This is still a great read, and it's just funny how it's bears, and it's just wacky. Good stuff.
Also, the stuff that she digs up, like in the floorboards in this, I think there was a
Oh
picture.
yeah.
There's a picture of the guy that actually found out that the bear was the killer, that she ended up like was also killing people that she ended up having to take out at the end of the last story, and that's what kind of made her fly the coop for a little while. So like it's almost like she's trying to retrace steps now of like what they found out in order to bury that information. But you're right, she's also kind of seems like she's getting off and kind of amused by seeing her using this person essentially. And that part is horrible. She goes into these people's home and like rips this stuff out of the guy's hand, and he falls downstairs and gets
so basically now this duck has killed somebody.
Yes.
Yeah. And I imagine that this bear must be just loving this.
Yeah. It's terrible what's happened, right? And and then you got this whole other story with the lonely turtle character that's being told. He's like learning of the internet for the first time and making friends on it. And then I guess he's
gonna freaking come back and do something at the end of this story.
And then he's got like one of those like free AOL type of like discs, you know what I mean? He's like, oh, I ran out of internet time. So like I was trying to figure out what that was. I'm like, I think this is what that is. And then like he had to go like find another disc in the mail.
Yeah, and then what was going on in that old folks home or wherever he went there? Like
I don't know.
Yeah,
well, get ready, guys. Catch up now. This characters are going to appear at DCKO.
It could be the new King Omega. Who knows?
Yeah, really. What'd you give this?
I'll give this a 4. Now that we talked about it, just all the other stuff that was going on there, I forgot about. That's good.
I agree. 4 out of 5. It was a good issue. All right, Batman 162. That's right. We're back, guys, to the 100 numbering with Batman 162 and Hush 2. Jim Lee.
I was waiting for this one.
Yeah.
Great cover. I have no idea what's going on in this comic anymore. I forgot everything. I don't even know why Batman or the Bat family is against them. And hey, look, I read this online first. I thought it was, very mid, whatever you want to call it. Like, okay, maybe I got to look at this. I got to read the actual comics. I broke out the comic, looked through it there. This was a nice page here. This is about the only good page out of the whole comic. Like, I know what Jim Lee is doing. If this was supposed to be his last hurrah, you'd think he'd, especially taking all this time too. Like, maybe if these came out sequentially month by month and, this all ended and, Matt Fraction started, kind of give him a shorter leash, okay, he's just knocking some stuff out, But, like, this is nothing. The story is nothing. You're waiting 3 extra months we're not even at the finish of this, and this was supposed to be like the whole story was supposed to be done 3 months ago. Like I imagine Chip Zdarsky must be just reading this and going, "What the heck?" You made me double book myself to kind of give you enough time to finish this, and then you never finish it on time. And I can't see Chip Zdarsky going back tomorrow or back to DC after this, for a while, unless somebody else.
From what we're seeing, he is taking on more Marvel work now, right? So, I mean,
like, I was hoping, the art is decent, but, when I think back to when Jim Lee was, there weren't so many great artists out at the same time that, almost have a style that may be similar to him or, even better than him. Like, you have Jimenez, you have freaking Dan Mora, putting all this stuff out. So it's not like this is, outstanding art. It's decent art.
I think it's time to have a tough conversation here. I think he's lost it, man. It looks stiff as hell in a lot of these pages. You made a fantastic point when you said we're waiting all this extra time and it still doesn't look that great. Like, that's problematic. And then, like, if you want to use an example of like a 90s guy or whatever 80s guy that came up during the same period as him, one of his people contemporaries or whatever, like one of the people he worked alongside there, Mark Silvestri. How about that mini series that he put out? It looked fantastic. It took him a long time to draw that. Like, it took him time to draw that series, but he put it out when he had.
Yeah, we could see the effort, and like that was something. This, I don't want to say it's nothing, but it's not good.
No. And then like when you have such a nothing story, like the story being told here, you really need the art to elevate the story. And we're just not getting that from either end here. This is like a bullshit story, and it's like low grade Jim Lee art.
Yeah, we have like freaking Hush like looming around in the background every once in a while, and
I mean,
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's not good. That's why I got to be honest here about it. I was very unimpressed by this, especially because of the delay. I thought maybe we're gonna get the best looking issue yet, possibly, right? But no, I feel like it's been like a sliding scale going down from the first issue. I think the first issue he had some good stuff in it, but then like since then, it just maybe he just can't keep up with the demand or the speed of his art anymore, or he's getting older. I don't know. I feel like I don't want to say he's lost it. He obviously can still draw, but it's
but I don't know where he's putting in the time.
Yeah, and it just doesn't look as good as he used to. It's not like it's just not. This is not Hush. Hush period Jim Lee for me is the peak of how good Jim Lee was. So to get this and for them to return to a story and call it Hush 2, if you're not delivering that same type of like art, like it's just like it's a waste, right? Like it's why even bother? And this is not a story we're telling. Like it's not a good story.
Maybe the story just sounded better on paper. He goes, okay, we got it. And then I don't know, it's just when you flesh it out.
That looked good, but yeah, I mean, here and there you get like certain panels where I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not bad, but like for the most part, it's
even this scene here where Batman throws him the door and he thinks they're attacking, and he's like, "Oh, he's not attacking us. He was trying to save us." It's like, what's going on? And then what? So the Batmobile can fall to the underground, and oh, there's the Joker, yay!
And I almost feel like the pages that are the best are these splash pages that Jim Lee is just going to sell for thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? Like we saw Jim Lee originals, if you remember, at FedEx.
Yeah, they wanted like $30,000 for them or something. It's like, are you crazy?
Because like this one, look at this. Like this is a money shot, like the Joker, Batman, and it's arguably the best page of the whole issue. But it's because there's no dynamic like fighting scenes or panels or anything. It's literally a splash page that you that he's just going to turn around and sell for like $30,000, and like that's worth drawing. You know what I mean? But anything else, it's like you know what I mean, like. That's the thing. I feel like Jim Lee, the businessman, has taken over in terms of Jim Lee's success, like other than him being an artist, right? Like he's been very successful in the comics industry, but I think like, these guys sometimes like try to go back and be like, I can still do it. And I'm like, nah, man, but it's not the same. Like I appreciate it. He's trying to do something, but do something new. Do your own series. Like don't do fucking Batman Hush 2, right? Yeah. Harkening back to your best, like, period, in my opinion, right? Like it's just
you should have done the DC swimsuit issue with all the hot chicks and ate it up just as much, and it wouldn't tarnish any of his reputation.
I just think if you're comparing it to other people that have been around as long as he has, there's other people still churning out good work that have been around the same period as he has. This is not his best stuff. So anyways, what'd you give this?
3.
I got to go lower, man. Honestly, between the story and the art being underwhelming, I'm going to go 2.5 on this. Right down the middle. I was really disappointed in this issue. But because of what you said, how long it fucking took to come out, and then you give me this, I was just like, yeah, I don't even know why I'm buying this anymore.
Yeah.
So, Fantastic Four number 5, Chris.
Okay, here we go. Another picked up the other variant cover.
Ooh, take a look at this.
Little Invisible Woman there.
Nice.
And a nice pleasant surprise, I believe. When I heard Black Cat was in there, I'm always up for a Black Cat story, and I think she did. She had a good story with the Avengers, and I think this is another one that almost knocks it out of the park. Where does it start out with the boys taking a boys trip out to, I don't know, going to the negative zone to go fishing, and bunch of dumb jokes. I'm going, oh, this was trouble. And then, it starts out with the story here with Black Cat, freaking ringing the Baxter's building doorbell and saying, hey, I need some help here. I'm in trouble. And then you kind of get the story goes on with that Sue Storm really doesn't have positive feelings towards Black Cat. And then, then she's just in jail. It's not like, I imagine, Sue Storm could say, hey guys, here, I'll be take care, you have no problem, I'll bring her in, she'll be under my responsibility. All that stuff could attract. But no, that she gets taken in jail. And then, it does go back to the Black Cat story with, she goes, oh, how come you haven't broken out here? This place couldn't hold you. She's like, I'm trying to turn a new leaf, it's got, but I swear all the stuff that went on, I didn't do it. And then, the conversations between Sue Storm and was that Alicia, I guess the Thing's wife. I kind of like the talking back and forth, and they kind of explore all these feelings of that's why Sue Storm might not like the Black Cat. But after working together, they kind of see things in a different light, and they become friendly. And then she kind of realizes maybe Black Cat doesn't have any friends. And once everything was all said and done, it's like, oh, you don't have to go. Maybe you want to stay here for a drink. And then when those boys get back from the trip, boom, they're off to Vegas to have a great old time too. So it's a good Ryan North. Like it's a kind of still fits the tone of where this Fantastic Four has been going. With these sort of one-off stories. That are kind of have some sciencey stuff. I think the crux of this story was the guard had some time gun that could only go back 10 minutes. And so, it kind of fits that part of the story, but nothing to complain about this story one bit. I thought the art was great. I thought the story was great. I liked everything that was going on in here.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. This was a pleasant surprise. I love the fact that Sue Storm didn't like Black Cat. I think that's great because she's like such a nice character that likes everyone, it seems like. And like, she's just like, I just don't like her.
It's funny to see, I hate the Black Cat. And really, it does track because, she, if you're not, if you don't, I know, I'm not like we know her, but if you're not sort of part of her world, she's just a thief, kind of always going back and forth, stealing stuff. It's like, who this person is.
And to your point, like I could have sworn like this felt like the Jed McKay Black Cat. Like Ryan North wrote this and he inserted it perfectly. I feel like not only the version of the character that we're reading within the series that she has right now, but it felt like very in line with the Jed McKay version of Black Cat as well too. So yeah, hats off to Ryan North. I think he did a great job with utilizing her as a character in this one issue. And like you said, sticking true to the type of tone that this book always brings with this kind of one-shot, like science mission type of tone for the story. And a great issue to actually do just after all the shit that we had to do with One World Under Doom for tie-ins with this series. This is like a good way to kind of move forward and do like a fun one-off.
Cleanse the palate and let's get on to business here.
Yeah, great issue. What'd you give this?
No, I'll give it a 4, no problem. I didn't pump it up more just because I'm more of a Black Cat fan, but I don't want to get ahead of myself here.
Yeah, 4 out of 5, absolutely. Great issue. Next up, we got New Avengers number 6.
Oof, this is, I don't know. I think this is getting good. Like, not that it was bad to begin with, but I'm sort of buying into this Killuminati or whatever they call them and what's going on there. It's not such a kind of one note, villain team. You got someone, and someone just kind of created these clones. Now these clones are kind of getting a little aware of what's going on. And this stuff that's going on with the Black Widow, where she may be a clone. Or, there's the question is out there that she may be a clone, which may be tracking because she seems to be banging the hell out of Bucky Barnes all the time. And the art for this, maybe it's not the art of the style. There we go. Boom, business is on. And, it gets better from there. So I have no complaints about this comic. I think the story, I don't know, maybe I'm just getting sort of blinded, getting like a little cheesecake in my brain that's, pumping this story up more than it is. But I'm enjoying it. I like this Tony Stark or what this Iron Apex. He doesn't want to be a clone. He wants to find out what's going on. And, there's supposed to be some reveal. I don't think they reveal actually who's behind everything, but I'm looking forward to see who that is. And, sort of what's going on with Black Widow, if she's a clone. Because I'm surprised she doesn't have the Venom or the symbiote with her, because she's been kind of tracking that thing around the whole time, and it's not here now. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I've been singing this book's praises. I feel like since the start, I think this is like one of the best underrated books that Marvel has coming out right now. And I'm sure it's only going to go to like 10 issues, seeing that that's usually the case for a lot of these series now. And the story seems to be continuing with this like Illuminati like group and all these clones and stuff like that through the first arc. But if you haven't checked this out, I honestly think you guys should check this out and jump on board, because this has been a lot of fun. It's got a great cast of characters. The art's not half bad. And yeah, that Black Widow Bucky stuff is fascinating. The fact that he could be banging the shit out of this clone. And we don't like this book has always felt like a little bit more adult than some of the other superhero books for whatever reason. Like some of the stuff that they've been touching on, not just the fact that the characters are having sex and stuff. It just feels like they're almost like in on the joke of what's going on in this book, the writer and the characters, like the way he's kind of orchestrating all of it. I kind of really like some of the references they're making, some of the jabs that the characters are making at one another. And the fact that, he doesn't know that she's a clone. There's a whole great scene in this where he takes a piece of her hair and she's watching. And
yeah, she's awake when it happens. So she knows that that he thinks that she might be a clone.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, what'd you give this, Chris?
I got a 3.75. It's on the rise.
Yeah, 3.75 out of 5. Next up, we got Ultimate Wolverine 11.
This has been a good comic, but what kills me is that the freaking, I don't want to say the ending is spoiled, but knowing it's coming to an end, or knowing this ultimate whole universe is getting freaking washed, it sort of takes away all the epic things that happen in here. Even in the beginning, they touch on sort of what's going on in this with Eurasia. I guess revolution is in the air. All the people are kind of fighting back. It goes back to seeing Jean Grey kind of stuck to that Cerebro. They haven't really gone back to that at all. I thought they might go somewhere there, but I guess they're just reminding us of that. And now you finally see Colossus, Magic, and them. They're sort of got their hands on now, and they have some sort of plan to find what are they called? The opposition. And of course, everything in the opposition looks good. Their things are going their way. They have their little world. They think they're safe. And holy smokes, what happens here at the end? It's in the middle, whatever you want to call it. It's crazy. Like if I'm not wrong, I think everybody dies here except Wolverine. So it looks like they're freaking clearing the board. And I don't know if you want a mad Wolverine coming after you, but things are getting real.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's still a lot of meat on the bone in this story, and it's a shame that we know it's coming to an end. But I'm here for the duration of the ride, and between the art and the story, and the look of the focus of the X-Men and the Ultimate Universe side of things, because Ultimate X-Men is not really what you would expect it to be in comparison. This has been fun. I've really enjoyed this read, and yeah, I'm gonna be sad to see it go, because I like how Wolverine's used in this series. He's the focus, but not really. Like, they're kind of focusing on a lot of different things happening in this story, and including the relations between the mutants, but it's kind of more political, but between countries, almost, you know what I mean? I like the story here. I really like meeting all the new characters that they kind of have introduced us to, and it's been good. It's just, yeah, like you said, disappointing. So anyway,
yeah, if you didn't know the series was gonna end, and basically all the main players get freaking wiped off the board, it'd be very impactful. But now that you know it's going to end, it's like, okay, well, of course that's what they got to do, because
this scene was awesome. This scene was awesome with him jumping out of the plane with the bomb going off too. That was insane. I was
like, he got it.
Yeah. I mean, that was just a really cool scene, though. I really dug the shit out of that. I was like, yeah, that's that's like a Wolverine moment, honestly. Like that's like that's worthy of like Hall of Fame Wolverine moments. Him going like, not knowing that he's not gonna die, but he's willing to jump on like the atomic bomb or whatever the hell it is.
Right? Yeah, like even if I got there, what am I gonna do? Stab it? It's not gonna do anything. That bomb, like, you're already, but you're still fighting on no matter what.
Like that like it like holding all his dead team members there. I just like. Yeah, you know what? I even like this more that we talked about it. I forgot. That was a great scene. That's honestly if I had to say like scenes of the week, that's like this is the one. Like this is one of the best scenes of comics that I read this week. Honestly, yeah, good stuff. What'd you give this?
I'll give it a 4.25.
Yeah, I think I have to now after talking about that scene too. 4.25 out of 5. Venom 251. I got one of those Inyuk Lee.
Yeah, that's the one I was supposed. That's the one I freaking put on my pull list. But hey, I'm just happy to get this one here. But anyways, I think we're getting back to the sort of Venom comic I've been enjoying. I think at that 250, you had to pull some strings there to put in that null story or whatever was going on here. And here we get back to freaking Dr. Octopus being a smug ass, especially with Luke Cage there. And it seems that Dr. Octopus has been pardoned for everything that he's been done, and Luke Cage is like, how is this guy freaking like leading this symbiote, whatever the SCAR, I forgot what the acronym stands for, but out there to capture the symbiotes, and I always like the back and forth between them. And you get some good Mary Jane stuff here. I guess she's trying to do her acting, and then she's on a break. And even though their relationship, I guess in the last issue was teased that they're going to try and not bond, or they're going to try and separate, even though it would cause either both of their deaths. Or it was still fun stuff, where he tries to be Iron Man and using the roller skates because he can't fly,
right?
And just doing all the crazy stuff. And then once again, this is a great last page here, where they decide to put on the red and blue, just having Mary Jane and Venom both reference Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and still the kind of the place that the high regard they hold him in is always encouraging. And it's by no means a super awesome comic, but it's still a fun comic, and I don't mind this one bit.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like that it's kind of getting back to its roots of like the fun wackiness that has been going on in this series outside of that null storyline setup, and I kind of want them to continue to go down that road with this tone for the book, because this is where I've kind of jumped in and have really been enjoying this Venom book. And the only thing I feel like this issue was missing was the regular series artist that we're used to. What's his name that we're really a big fan of?
Carlos Gomez. Yeah, who is this guy? I forget about
Paco Medina is the one that drew this one, which is he's fine. I don't mind him, but I'd rather Carlos Gomez on this book. I just think like the look of the book is, I feel like I'm used to Carlos Gomez now on it, so it didn't feel right. But like you said, it had some fun Doc Ock moments and some good symbiote kind of stuff between the two characters. So, and there you go, Spider-Man. So,
hey.
What'd you give this?
Yeah, 3.75. Good stuff.
Yep. I agree. And then finally, we got Spider-Man and Wolverine #7, which my LCS got shorted on my issue, so I'm waiting for the reorder now. I'm really upset by the fact that you don't got my issue, but it's coming. So what'd you think?
I'm surprised there's not more hype for this comic, because I think this is a good comic. Like the art, of course, takes it right over the top anytime Kerry Andrews is out there doing what he does. They got some baloney story in here all the time, but the more you read it, the more you get into these baloney stories. And whatever this Arachnix character, it's kind of shocking when he cuts, I think, doesn't he cut Spider-Man's head off or something in the beginning? And then, and he freaking offs Wolverine. Of course, sometimes it's hard to kill Wolverine. Sometimes it's easy to kill him. And I guess this time it was easy, but it gets into some good stuff. And then, then it kind of just drops off from there. You don't know what sort of goes on or what happens from there. And I don't know if they're going to a different timeline or a different world, but I think this Arachnix comes from a different timeline or a different world, and
they are in a different world. Like they reference the fact that the Reed Richards of the world said like meets with them.
Oh yeah, he's the one that brought him over there or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess because this Arachnix character is an amalgam of both of them, and they just run around, do their stuff. But I guess in the end, it seems that this Arachnix or Reed Richards has called a whole bunch of Spider-Mans and Wolverines to try and stop them. And it looks like nobody's been able to do it because they're all freaking hung up in webs and there's a pile of dead Spider-Mans and Wolverines everywhere. So it looks like these guys got their work cut out for them. Which I don't mind. It's comics, and this is another good story.
It took me a while to realize that about this series, though. But not only are they pulling from 90s comic style art in terms of like Carrie Andrews style in this series, they're also pulling from older stories of these two characters, right? That's that whole first arc was based on a story that was in that famous Spider-Man and Wolverine issue. And like this is basically, I think they're just tying in or going off of certain even pages or poses of these two characters that have been in comics. There was one in this issue that I felt was familiar. Between the art and the story, they're really just pulling a lot from these guys' histories. And like, I feel like just like the 90s style stories and art, like are being really well captured in this series and done in a really good way. And even though this story is not as shit as like we've talked about with Hush 2, like you pointed out, there's some baloney stories being elevated by the fact that the art is so kick-ass, which is what Hush 2 would have been, beneficial for that story if it was really good Jim Lee period art, right? From back in the day.
Yeah.
So,
and this is not being hyped as, the must-read Spider-Man Wolverine story of time. This is the next greatest thing. It's this Carrie Andrews, like, look at this. Like there's a splash page.
This is what I'm saying. This page,
could not Jim Lee not do a picture of this, of freaking Batman and Robin or something for no reason? Who knows? Maybe they're just walking to the store, and this is how they walk to the store,
Yeah.
Or having Batman and Catwoman. They have a scenes with Batman and Catwoman. They're both just standing there talking to each other. It's like, are you serious? That's how you're gonna have them? That's what you're gonna do? Get out of here, Jim Lee.
The big thing I know we just dragged him down again in another book completely, but I just want to say the ending was really cool in this too, because you find out that he's killed like multiple versions of Wolverine and Spider-Man from like other like that have come and like tried to track him down in this dimension previously, or they just keep repeating it Groundhog Day style. I'm not sure, but there's all these like dead bodies of themselves there when they show up to take him out. So it's a lot of fun and the art's fantastic. So what more can I say?
Yeah.
What'd you give this?
I'll give 3.75.
Yeah, same. All right, so that's going to do it for this week of comics that we read. What are we reading next week, Chris? You got a list of some sort there?
List here of some sort. I think these are the ones I'm buying. There's still a whole bunch more that I'll probably read online. Hopefully it's not what I'm buying.
This will be for November 19th.
19, yeah. So we got Amazing Spider-Man 16, One World Under Doom 9, Punisher Red Band 3, Captain America 5. I've got the Batman Deadpool. I think I've seen some previews of a Tom King story with, was it Nightwing and X-23 or Wolverine, whatever you want to call her. Seemed good. Like it seemed better than anything out of the Marvel side already, and that was just a preview. We got Wonder Woman 27. I think I got a Nakayama cover on there that's supposed to be pretty decent. G.I. Joe 14, and let's see if I get Final Boss. Final Boss by Tyler Kirkman, number 1.
Yeah.
And I think there's a whole bunch of other, I think there's Exquisite Corpses coming out next week.
It's a massive week next week between like, I mean, I'm not picking all of these up, but these are some things that we might talk on the show about that I'll also be, reading digitally, but it is a big week. So we got Powers 25, number 3, Absolute Flash 9, Batman, Superman 45, like all those I'm not picking up. Wonder Woman 27. I believe I've dropped Wonder Woman now too, but I'll be reading it. I think I've dropped it. Final Boss number 1. I didn't order it, but I'm looking forward to checking that out if we can before the show. Godzilla versus Marvel number 5. I think that's a wrap up of that. Then you got all the X-Men tie-ins. We'll see what we talk about there. Actually, this was a promising week. This was Last Wolverine 2 and Omega Kids 2, which we both enjoyed the first issues of, actually, of those ones. So we'll see where those go. Or at least, I know you like Last Wolverine more.
I think I like the Last Wolverine. You like the Omega Kids.
Then you got Predator Marvel number 4, Ultimates 18. There's a Spider-Man Christmas issue coming out. I don't know what that's all about.
I get pulled into the hype, but maybe I'll read it.
Unbreakable X-Men. I don't think I plan on reading that, but that's coming out. Then you got X-Men Book of Revelation number 2. And I pre-ordered a cover for X-Men of Apocalypse that's by Daniel Warren Johnson, which is awesome. I can't wait to show off that cover. Not really so much looking forward to that. Reading it, though. DC, Marvel, Batman, Deadpool. I got many covers of that coming, so stay tuned. Yeah. Harley, Elvira 2, Creepshow 3, Exquisite Corpses 7. I mean, the list goes on. G.I. Joe 14, Capes number 1. This is the new Robert Kirkman. He's like redoing. It's a series that came out previously, but it's got new art and dialogue. Like he's trying to like redo it essentially because it was an older series. That's in the Invincible universe, though. Capes number 1. Sacrificer 17, Amazing Spider-Man 16, Punisher Red Band 3, Captain America 5, and One World Under Doom number 9. So, yeah, it's a massive week next week of releases. A lot of good stuff there. Looking forward to talking about it, as always. Okay. Chris.
Well, comic news. Do you hear they're rebooting Daredevil?
I did. I heard there's also going to be a blind bag for this as well, which is...
I'm not falling for this one.
I was about to say, it gives a whole new meaning to blind bags because he is blind. I don't think I'm getting the blind bag, but we'll see. That being said, I'm all in for a reboot on Daredevil because, as you know, we haven't been reading Daredevil since Saladin Ahmed started writing it because we read a few issues and it was not to our liking. So we dropped off of that. I think Stephanie Williams is writing this one.
Williams, I don't know.
I've read some stuff of hers I like, so I'm willing to. Honestly, it's one of my favorite characters, so I'm willing to give it a shot at this point. I'm willing to, like, it's been a while. It's been a while since we've read Daredevil, so I'm willing to give it a shot. I'll give it a couple of issues. We'll see what happens.
There's a law teacher in this one. This is
I didn't read it about what it's about. I didn't read anything about what it's about. Is that the direction they're going?
Well, that's just one of the bits there, I guess, in the solicitation type blurb. But
I'm giving it a shot.
Daredevil's freaking 1,000 jobs at Daredevil. I'll be a priest, though, and I'll be a law teacher. Maybe the next reboot I could be a garbage man. Who knows?
Right. Well, you got to do different things sometimes, Chris. Some things work, some things don't. And then eventually people will complain so much they'll just go back to the original.
The one that was working for like the last 30 years before he decided to change things. But anyways, we'll see.
Yeah, well, it's a new writer, which always gives me a little bit of more hope. We'll see. She's written some things I've enjoyed, so I'm willing to give it a shot. I did hear about it, though, and I do think they're going a little crazy now with the blind bags. That was my other opinion about this news when I heard that they're doing a blind bag for this, because I'm like, is that really, necessary for this? But now I didn't see, though. What I didn't see is, are they giving people the option, though, to get something that isn't blind bagged?
Yeah, I think it's not all blind bags.
As long as that's not the case, I'm okay with it, because we're going to be in trouble when they're forcing people to get a blind bag. You know what I mean? Like when they're just like, you don't even have the option not to.
Yeah, there's no A cover. It's just blind bags, and that's it.
Right.
And as long as, I don't mind the blind bags as long as it's all freaking like top tier talent on blind bags. Like when those Batman blind bags came out, there really wasn't there's ones you want. Yeah. But there wasn't a bad one in there.
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
and that's the case with Daredevil. With Daredevil, I don't mind that so much either, but I think they're getting out of hand with the blind bags.
I agree. But I mean, for the sake of the show, it is fun to kind of open something up. I will say, if we didn't do this show, I would be less interested in it. But I do feel it's fun to kind of crack open a couple, on the show. It's not like we do cracking packs with the chat anymore these days, right? So it's kind of like a nice reveal of sorts to do on the show. I do like it. like, you might always get me it for at least one of these blind bags for these releases. But the problem is if they start doing it for every number one now, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to get a little out of hand. Like, I don't feel like a new Daredevil issues really like for
blind bag worthy.
Right. Like events, sure. Big character number ones, sure. I mean, Daredevil's a big character, but like not to the point where like
yeah, but he's been rebooted 3 times since I started collecting comics already.
Exactly. That's my point exactly about that. So we'll see. I mean, I am excited to try out a new series about him. Whether or not it's going to be good is yet to be seen. But I just we hated on that last run so much. I remember,
but it was bad.
Well, yeah, we had some good laughs about that reading that series on the show. I remember when he was a priest, we had some good laughs about those issues. Those were fun to talk about. I will say that. So I remember the one.
I'm not buying these ones blind. It's got to be good, and then maybe I'll buy them.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, Chris, what is your favorite book of the week?
All right, we had some contenders this week. We had. Transformers was good. Ultimate Wolverine was good. But I think I have to give it to Fantastic Four. I thought it was just fantastic.
Yes. I think you just mentioned all of the runner-ups I had in consideration. That's Fantastic Four, Ultimate Wolverine, as well as Transformers. They're all really good this week. Yeah, you read my mind. But weirdly enough, and it's one I didn't pick up. Like you said, I hate it when it's not a book I actually picked up, but I got to give it to Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum #4, because just from like I said, a creative standpoint, it was very impressive what they brought in this issue, what they did with the issue. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, it just overall, I think it's the best package this week in terms of like, creativity and story and art. It had the whole shebang. Honestly, it was a really fun issue. So I got to give it to Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum #4, from I think it's who's the creator's name? Martin Morazzo on art and William H. Prince or something like that. I forget his name, but yeah, it's the guys that do Ice Cream Man. Maxwell Prince or something, I think his name is. But yeah, so they're really good. Check out Ice Cream Man if you've never checked that series out. That's a really great series as well. But this is a good issue, so I think I got to give it to that. First issue of the miniseries I gave it to as well. So, but yeah, all those are good runner-ups this week though. Transformers is great. Ultimate Wolverine for that scene alone with the bomb I loved, and Fantastic Four, great unexpected issue. Honestly, I love that she shows up in things, and it actually makes the series
it makes the comics better. Like she hasn't dragged anything that she's appeared in down. She's sort of elevated them all.
Yeah, no, she's a great, honestly, like a cameo essentially in these issues that she shows up in, and I've been enjoying the I think it's a mini series. It's not an ongoing series. I think they've called it quits at 5 issues, if I'm not mistaken. But whether or not this turns into multiple mini series again, like Jed McKay did with her, I guess it's yet to be seen, because that's been a lot of fun too. The series that's coming out.
I've enjoyed that. I wouldn't mind if that went on a little bit longer.
Yeah, exactly. So. All right, there you go, guys. That's going to do it for this week, episode 205. We'll make sure to check us next week as well. Another great week of comics me and Chris will get into. And yeah, that's it. That's it for today. Thank you, Chris. As always, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Later, everyone.
Later.